Okay, I'm about to make hot fudge sauce. Hot chocolate syrup, basically. Chocolate syrup. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my semi-sweet chocolate morsels and I'm gonna add them to my pot that I've already allowed to heat for about 5 minutes at low temperature. And I'm just gonna slowly let my chocolate melt while I'm stirring it. Slowly let it melt. While I'm stirring it constantly. And again, this is on low heat. You want this to melt slowly. See that chocolate is melting slowly? Perfectly. That's because I'm doing it slow, on low heat. And I'm going to stir it until it gets smooth. And again, I let this pot get hot on low heat. I let it sit on the stove on low heat for about 2 minutes. For about 5 minutes, I should say. See, and that's your melted chocolate right there. See how that's perfectly melted? Okay, now I'm going to set this aside. Now what I want to do is I want to add I want to sift 1/3 of a cup of Hershey's unsweetened cocoa into this. One-third of a cup. One-third of a cup of cocoa. I want to sift that, put that in my sifter, and sift that into it. This will eliminate any of the lumps. See all those lumps? It eliminates the sifting process. Okay. So now I'm going to incorporate this into the cocoa, or into the chocolate. Incorporate my cocoa into my chocolate, my melted chocolate. Then I'm going to set this aside. Then I'm going to take another saucepan, turn it up to medium heat. Into that saucepan, I'm going to add half of a cup of granulated sugar. Half a cup of white Domino's white granulated sugar. One-third of a cup of heavy cream. One third of a cup of heavy whipping cream. And again, I turn this up to medium. 1/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. Again, that's on medium heat. 1/3 of a cup of water. One-third of a cup of water. Three-fourths of a cup of light corn syrup. Three-fourths of a cup of light corn syrup. Three tablespoons of butter. That have been chopped up. So this is 3 tablespoons of chopped butter. Or no, I'm sorry. You add the butter afterwards. Well, you're supposed to add the butter afterwards, but it's too late. But you add the butter afterwards, after you've melted everything down. But it shouldn't matter. And half a teaspoon of salt. Half a teaspoon of salt. So now what you want to do is you just want to incorporate everything. And let everything cook to a simmer. While you constantly stir it. While you stir it up constantly. Just let it bring it to a simmer. Okay, so I've let this simmer, my mixture. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove it from the heat. And I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this is also where you would add the butter. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to add my mixture, this mixture, to my melted chocolate. And I'm going to stir it until it's well incorporated. This is where it turns into syrup, chocolate syrup. I'm using a flat attachment for this to stir this. But you keep stirring it until it becomes well incorporated. Stir it slowly. See how it's starting to incorporate perfectly? Yep, you stir it until it becomes perfectly incorporated. See how that's becoming your chocolate syrup? Yep. See, that's perfect chocolate. So look at that. Perfect chocolate syrup. Try to get all the lumps out of it. Make sure it's perfectly incorporated and get as much off the side as the pan as you can. Keep stirring it constantly. It will incorporate fully for you. Yep, just make sure there's no lumps in there at all. Just keep stirring it until it gets smooth with no lumps. I'll get all the lumps out of there. See, that's your perfect chocolate syrup. See there? That's what you want. That's your chocolate syrup. Just trying to get the last few lumps out of it. Yeah, I think I've mostly gotten all the lumps out of it, I think. Because I don't feel anymore. I don't feel any more lumps in it. See, it's just perfect chocolate syrup. Okay, and that's what you want. That's your chocolate syrup. Yeah, I've gotten all the lumps out of it, as you can see. See, that's your perfect chocolate syrup. And you just want to, let this sit for about 5 minutes to cool off. And then pour it into a jar or something like that and just put it in the refrigerator and it'll get more syrupy. And this is your chocolate syrup. Hot fudge chocolate syrup. That's what you want.